New this morning, Fort Collins police are investigating the death of a man they say was hit by multiple cars last night. It happened just before 10 along East Harmony Road and South LeMay Avenue. Police say the man was already dead when they arrived. Witnesses say the cars had the green light when the man was hit, but officers are still working on confirming that. All of the drivers involved stayed on scene. Officers are figuring out if alcohol may have been a factor. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Pueblo City Council has voted down a proposed anti-abortion ordinance referencing a law from the 1800s. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez joins us live in studio with the latest. Brianna, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jordan. So the ordinance directly challenged state law. If it had passed, it could have set up court battles as anti-abortion groups cited a federal law from 1873. But Pueblo City Council rejected the ordinance in a 4-3 vote. Pueblo Councilwoman Regina Maestri introduced this measure. She's done it before in the past. Maestri failed 2 years ago to pass an ordinance to ban clinics and sue abortion providers. 2 years later, she tried again to restrict abortion access in the city of Pueblo. This time around, the measure would have used the Federal Comstock Act from 1873 to ban the mailing and receiving of items used in abortions. She hoped the federal law could be used to restrict abortions, even in states with broad access to abortion like Colorado. Colorado's Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser sent a letter to the city council last month saying he'd take them to court if it had passed. The city's law department recommended the council not to pass the ordinance, arguing it violated at least 2 state laws and would set up a legal battle that could make it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
This ordinance is not only unnecessary, but it could have some serious legal and financial implications for our city. So fact 1, under the Reproductive Health Equity Act, municipalities like ours cannot regulate abortion services. And that's exactly what this ordinance is trying to do. It's attempting to control what instruments and equipment medical providers can use and obtain, something that is beyond our authority. Fact 2, our own attorneys just now have advised us that in this case, federal law does not override the state law. They just warned us that passing this ordinance can put us on the wrong side of the law, and their professional advice is clear.
Colorado voters will decide in November whether to put abortion rights into the state constitution. Amendment 79 would also remove the state's current ban against public funding for abortions. For now, I'm in the studio. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
All right, Brianna, we appreciate the update. Thank you.
One of the propositions Colorado voters will be deciding on is whether or not to create a position that falls below veterinarians. People on both sides of Prop 129 agree on 2 things. They want what's best for your pet, and the veterinarian shortage is a problem, but they disagree on whether this new position is the right way to address the shortage.
If we don't do something to start increasing access to veterinary care, animals suffer. And that's why the Dumb Friends League has chosen this as a really important issue for us.
These people will be able to diagnose, initiate treatment plans, and do surgery. I don't see how they will be able to be competent to do those things.
This proposition comes on the heels of 2 bills signed into law this year, one allowing vets to delegate more work to veterinary technicians, and the other allows telehealth appointments between vets and pet owners. Our team is making it easy for you to make your vote count. Just text the word vote to the number on your screen, 303-871-1491, and we will text you back a link to our full voter guide.
A container with white powder has led to a big investigation at an apartment in unincorporated Arapahoe County. It happened on South Willow Street, not far from Parker Road. The sheriff's office says a family found that container on their front porch around 6:30 last night. Deputies say they brought it inside their apartment, and when they opened it, it, quote, exploded. 3 people were taken to the hospital as a precaution. None of them had a serious reaction. South Metro Fire says the powder has come back negative for any hazardous material. Experts are now trying to figure out exactly what it is.
Right now, the Elbert County Sheriff is working to get more deputies. 2 are on leave after a shooting at an Elizabeth apartment building on Tuesday morning. One of the deputies is recovering from minor injuries after getting shot. Another is on administrative leave per department policy after firing his weapon. Now the department only has 3 deputies to cover the entire county. The sheriff's office says the hope is to recruit more to fill the need, but right now it has no choice but to have the remaining deputies work overtime.
We're looking at 2 to 4 deputies on patrol covering a 400 square mile county. So when we're down a deputy for whatever reason, then it puts a strain on the other deputies that are on duty.
The Elbert County Sheriff says response times to calls may be slow and the impact of this could be even greater. The sheriff projects they'll respond to more than 17,000 calls for service by the end of the year, and that would be a record.
Well, 5 years after Kimberly Bell's murder, investigators in Douglas County have made 2 arrests in this case. Javier Alex Martel and Jennifer Bremer have been arrested. Martel is charged with Bell's murder. Bremer is facing charges of felony accessory to a crime and identity theft. The Douglas County Sheriff says Bremer and Martel were in a car with Bell at an RTD parking lot in unincorporated Douglas County on July 22nd of 2019. Investigators say that Martel became enraged with Bell and choked her to death. From there, the sheriff says the pair drove to a Home Depot and bought an axe. They then drove up to Estes Park, where Martel allegedly dismembered Bell's body, throwing her remains in trash bags and driving them to a veterinary clinic nearby to toss them in a dumpster. The case went cold, but investigators never gave up.
A lot of witness interviews were done. This case literally took many years to come to this, to get to this point. And we sent detectives to Texas. We've sent CSIs around the country as well. This case literally took years to solve, to put everything together to get that grand jury indictment.
Sheriff Weekly says this is a big break for the case, but that the investigation is far from over. Anyone with any information about Martel, Bremer, or what happened to Kimberly Bell that night in 2019 is asked to contact the Douglas Sheriff's cold case team.
The parent company of King Soopers and Safeway, Kroger and Albertsons, are trying to convince a district court judge in Denver that they need to merge to compete with mega stores like Walmart, Costco, and Amazon. Kroger's CEO took the stand 2 weeks into a trial over the Kroger Albertsons merger. The state of Colorado wrapped up its case earlier this week. The state's argument has focused on the Colorado Antitrust Act. Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser says if this merger goes through, it will lead to less competition, damage to worker rights, worse customer service, and higher grocery prices. The defense started its testimony this week.
For me, I don't want it to be one of those things where in 20 years, all of a sudden you realize they have a 10 or 20% market share and you've just let them take business away from you.
The trial is running behind schedule. Closing arguments are set for next Thursday. The proposed merger is also being tested at trial in Oregon and Washington.
EXL Energy is bringing back its energy efficiency rebate program. It was on pause after the company overspent this year's budget. State utility regulators are allowing the company to move $34 million from next year's budget to keep the program going this year. The program offers rebates to businesses using energy-efficient equipment like LED lighting and high-efficiency HVAC systems. In July, EXL said the program was more popular than they expected and reached capacity. State regulators approved to move around some money from the full 3-year energy-efficient plan to fill the gap this year.
This has been one of the hottest starts to October in 150 years. And even though the calendar says it's fall, it's still fire season across much of the state. Right now, Summit County is under stage 1 fire restrictions. It's because vegetation can burn easily because of the dry conditions. Summit County has not been in very high fire danger since 2021. It will likely stay this way until snow falls. Burn restrictions are also in effect in Colorado Springs. Fires of any kind, open or contained, on any underdeveloped wildland areas and brushy or grassy areas are prohibited within city limits. Recreational fires, bonfires, open or prescribed burns are also not allowed. You can use your outdoor fireplaces and outdoor appliances only if you are within a developed area.
And so far this October, the warmest on record here in Denver with an average temperature 64.1. That actually averages the high and the lows. And I'll tell you what, today is certainly going to help with that placement as number 1 as temperatures climb 15 degrees above normal. 79 degrees, our forecast high for this evening. This afternoon. We're looking at a breezy evening with those winds out of the south, 5 to 20 miles per hour. They're going to increase gusting up to 30 miles per hour as we head into the evening hours.